What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we do our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs alike, and the cryptocurrency world because crypto is the biggest opportunity over the next year or two, and nothing is even close. Welcome along on the journey, guys. We're pumped to have you. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here. Just truly blessed to be on this journey with all you fine gentlemen and women and with our families. And we're going to be using crypto as a wealth creation tool and using real estate as a wealth preservation tool. Man, it's just been such a blast to be on this journey and meet new friends from all over the world, all over the globe. I always tell people real estate gave me friends all over the nation, and crypto has given me friends all over the world. So it's just such a blessing to be on this journey and meet you guys. And then, hopefully be on the most wildest ride. Not hopefully, I know it's just a matter of time. It's like, it's not if, it's when, but to be on the wildest ride that we could possibly envision. And so with that note, Dane, I think we have to wind the show down and call it quits for today. The top signal, Mr. Ink Maxi himself, who officially put my cat to work at freaking Chick-fil-A because my cat was so broke. He did that on Twitter. I couldn't believe it. But I think we got to shut the show down, man. Brizology's here.
Turn it off. Let's do it. No, we appreciate you guys being here. It's been interesting to see more recently. So if you haven't been following along on Twitter, there's been I think it's the third largest sacrifice wallet for Pulsechain has been selling. I think it's been $1 million a day for about a month now. Is that right, Corey?
Yeah. Wow. I think when you say it like that, man, like people are saying that we're an illiquid chain with no activity and no like liquidity. Like, what? It's $1 million a day sell order through MetaMask, mind you, because they're supposedly the conspiracy theory or the cope or whatever you want. The MetaMask was used because I guess it offers some obfuscation or some kind of like, I don't know what it is. You're unable to track it as easy, and you guys can correct me in the chats why the MetaMask, or maybe it's just stupidity. Is it stupidity, guys? Please correct me in the chat. But I heard is because you couldn't track the cells as easily if you were doing chain analysis for some reason if it's through MetaMask. So I don't know. That's the first time I heard that. But yeah, he was selling every day through the MetaMask and taking that hit on that fee. And man, it's quite incredible. To me, I think the price chart has held up quite well, in my opinion. We even saw Ethereum. I don't know if you saw this, Dane. Earlier today, a entity sold $28 million in Ethereum in one market sale. And it didn't wreck the price, but it knocked the price from 3,900 and some change all the way back down to 37 and some change. So like
Sure.
we saw it on the chart what a $28 million sell order. So I mean, we handled a $20 million sell order. Now, of course, it was over the course of 20 days, and he didn't do it all at once. But man, it shows the strength of the chain and the strength of the community. In my opinion, we didn't go to zero. We haven't even made new lower lows. Like we're still in a very healthy upward trend. And I mean, I don't know, man. I still think we're in a good shape. There is some speculation, Dane. I don't know. I know you've heard about this. That it could be RH, and then he's taken his money back that he injected into the ecosystem to flush out the weak hands, to, prepare for maybe like, I don't know, an announcement like maybe Pulsechain has privacy now, whatever it could be, some kind of upgrade or maybe it's just get his money back while everybody's being on the FUD train. And then he's just going to chill for the next, 3 to 6 months and not do anything while he waits for everyone to continue to get fudding out. I don't know, man. It's interesting because that wallet is never sold a hex. It's day one adoption amplifier. It put a lot of ETH in the adoption amplifier. Like I think it's like 1,300, 1,200, something like that. He free claimed his Bitcoin on ETH So it was like 300 and like, I don't know, 350 Bitcoin. I mean, nothing cheap, man. I mean, even Bitcoin back then, I mean, I get it wasn't the same price it was today, but still, it's still some money. And yeah, and he's never sold a hex. He's been like a benevolent whale in the ecosystem up to this point. So I don't know, man. What do you think? This is the tinfoil hat show. I don't know what's going on there, man. Hey, man, and I don't care if I was Richard Dane. If I was Richard and I pumped in 50 million into the eco or whatever it was, I can't remember what it was, 20 million or 50 million, and you guys were MFing me still and still fudding me and still selling. I'm like, you know what? How about I take my money back? And how about you little crybabies cry it out for another 6 months? Let the Ethereum ETF get approved. Let privacy come to Pulsechain. Let me go fight the SEC, and then I'll go back and inject some money if you're still around. Like, I don't know. That's me, because we got a lot of little crybabies in our community. Even some of the OGs, man. I'm not afraid to say it. Not you, Brizology. You're the ink maxi. You're definitely not a crybaby. But some of these OGs, man, I see them, dude. I see them. You know. And if I was Richard, I'd be I don't know. So maybe that's his way of getting back. Who knows, dude? Who knows?
Urban Production says, yeah, I guess everyone's been flushed out. There's only 3 people in the chat.
That's the other thing on productions. Like, we were talking about this before the show. And so the guys who wrecked the charts, okay. Super Hex, yeah, I know he's an OG too. I see him in the chat. So the guys who wrecked the chart the hardest were the guys who rode Hex up to, 15 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents. You guys have heard our opinion on that narrative. We hate that narrative because you're like, oh, the sacrifice saved me. No, this is why we've been so bearish this entire time, because the 36 Hex guys are still able to sell their Hex at 30 cents, or maybe they were able to sell it at 15 cents because of where their cost basis was. That's a bearish thing. It's not a bullish thing. So guys, please don't go around and say, I got to keep my value. But I do also feel like, Dane, that those guys who were liquid, because some of these guys are staking 555. Make no mistake. A lot of these guys are staking. But the guys who were liquid and the guys who didn't or don't believe in the ecosystem, or don't believe that they hate RH because his ego hurts their ego. That's the biggest one. I think that's the biggest problem. His ego hurts their ego, and they can't stand that.
I don't think it's only that, but I think that, I think that a lot of the OGs felt like they bought a bag of goods that just changed on them. The staking and everything is the same, but most of the early people, they liked Richard, the Richard in the top hat that was goofy and making self-help stuff that was there to change the world. That's what most of the big bag holders bought into, and then you ended up getting this crazy Richard that was trolling everybody and buying all this expensive stuff. The bag of goods changed. And I think many people, we've seen it reflected on the price chart, didn't like that.
Even if so, wouldn't those liquid bag holders, wouldn't you think by this time frame they would be gone?
I think it's twofold. So on the one hand, I think there's plenty that are. On the other, I mean, you and I have both experienced this, that when we step outside of the RH ecosystem, it just doesn't feel like home anymore. And even though you may not be happy at home, elsewhere is not home. And I think that you've built arguably one of the most sophisticated DeFi user base in all of DeFi. And it's one of those things where, where what you know at this point. And so, if you want to come and trade and you want to do different things and make some money, but this is home. This is what I know. And if I don't like Richard, well, then my job is to take Richard's money. And so you buy, you sell into Richard pumps, and then you try to buy back the bottoms, and you try to extract value from Richard. I mean, those are the enemies that you made. And I think that's absolutely part of the game too now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say you could see that in some of the FUDsters. There was one account on Twitter. He was FUDing probably for the last 3 weeks really heavily. And then he admitted that he was buying, like, the entire time he was fudding, he was buying. He bought in a tune of, like, I mean, it was like 4 billion pulse. I mean, it was a lot. It wasn't small bags. These are big bags. He spent like over $250,000. He showed it. It was on Twitter. I was like, holy crap. So he was fudding really hard. Now I can see those kind of guys being the ones, okay, I'm gonna fud the ecosystem to the bottom, buy as much as possible. Then the next time, the OA pumps it, I'll sell out of it. And then, I can see them kind of rinsing and repeating that out of anger. Maybe.
You know there are
Yeah.
people that they said, Richard, I don't like who Richard became, and my job is to take Richard's money. And I think that I can outtrade Richard. And so you see them doing what they're going to do. And it'll be, frankly, I think it'll be kind of a fun cat and mouse game to watch. And we'll see, can Richard play 8D chess like he did in last bull run and outsmart a lot of these people, and people get left behind and lose money, or has he built an ecosystem of people that are so sophisticated that the game's gotten 10 times harder? It'll be interesting to see.
Well, you have that too. You got guys who don't necessarily they hate RH, but they do still buy in when he's coming across the bridge, and then they sell into him, even though, like, some of our friends do that. Some of our close friends
When
do
it's
that.
not been hard to. That's the
And it's
thing, is
not
like
been
it's been
hard.
really easy to do that so far if that's what you wanted to do. And
Privacy.
so if you're Richard, right, you have to. We all know Richard is, Richard was telegraphing those. Whoever was in charge of the sacrifice funds, I should say, was telegraphing those moves for all to see. And I think it was a beautiful thing because you got them telegraphing that, hey, we're here still, we're working still, we still like this stuff. And so we buy it and we go ahead and pump the ecosystem. We're still here. And so, like, in my opinion, like, if you want a signal, that's the freaking signal. And then, whether it be somebody, Richard, or somebody else extracting value here, I don't know. But in time, I think that you'll see Richard be a lot more sophisticated about how, once again, or whoever controls those funds, how they go about pumping the ecosystem or manipulating it in such a way that we all anticipate it being to our benefit. And I think that'll come in time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's really, it's fascinating to see. And when you think about this as a player versus player game, I mean, you're playing against some of the most sophisticated people in the blockchain when you come over to the RH ecosystem. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind. This isn't playing a bunch of newbies here. And so
No,
it's interesting to consider. When we were doing real estate, I had kind of a similar experience, and I think about this a lot and how it applies here, where I bought some coaching from a guy that was local to me, and he promised that he would help me. And as soon as I bought the coaching, he wouldn't take a call from me. He wouldn't respond to anything. And he had taught us, though, how to find homeowners' houses on the internet through the county record system. So I said, well, if you're not going to help me, I'll come to your house and you can help me there. And so he gave me the tools to find his house, and I did exactly that with no ill intention, right? I just went to get the help that I paid for. And so I went and I camped out 3 days in a row in the evenings until I found him. And I knocked on the door, and he helped me. And that was
he was scared.
I'm sure he was. But MFR, I paid for this help. And so
He
I
was
think it's
scared the
the same. I'm
bejesus
telling
out of
you,
him.
I
He's
think
like,
there's a lot of similarities here where
there
you built
is.
a very advanced DeFi user base, and that user base you're going to naturally play against that user base now if you're Richard. And so it's interesting to see. No.
That's exactly what it's exactly the same thing. I mean, we got, some of our closest friends, they're expert chain analysis guys, and they have all the wallets, tracked, and they know exactly what their habits are, what their actual, what they could see like 5 moves in the future from that wallet because it did this particular trade. It knows, or they know, because they've gotten so sophisticated and advanced at this. It's a talent, it's a skill set, and it's very interesting. And that came from us being pounded into DeFi so much, especially the OGs with Hex and Richard Hart, and really using crypto the way it was intended to be used. And so
And you could just play a game differently, right? It's one thing to understand the rules of a game. It's a whole
yeah.
other, and some of you guys, like you'll if you've ever had like poker night with buddies that you play with frequently, or board games or whatever it may be, right? It's one thing to understand the rules of the game. It's another to understand the players and how they tend to play. And there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time determining, or at least getting really familiar with, how some of these bigger players, how they tend to play. And so, it's fascinating to see this unfold. And I also think that it points to, you want to talk about some of the upside, it points to some of the cool things that are being built for Pulsechain. That's where, when you step outside, it's, in my opinion, it's hard because you don't have some of the crazy game theory things being built, or at least I can't find a lot of them. You don't have some of this, some of these ideologies that we've all come to feel like our home. You don't have those elsewhere. And so you have, in my opinion, you have 2 options if you're currently in the ecosystem. You can buy, and you can sit on your hands, and you can just hold, which I think is great, especially at these prices. You're buying when things are cheap. You don't need to buy a perfect bottom. You don't need to sell a perfect top. But if you can catch, a lot of that meat in the middle, it'll be great, I think. We don't give any financial advice. This is my opinion. I'm just speculating. Or, you could put in the time to go and try to learn some of these behaviors, learn how other people play the game. In fact, I was on a podcast yesterday. We were talking about real estate and crypto, and the guy asked me about, if you were a new real estate person, what my advice would be to that person. And I told him, I said, look, you have to understand, as a new real estate person, when you're coming in, and many of these new people, they're trying to compete on a part-time basis, a few hours here and there. You're trying to compete with 1,000 other people that have a team, that are spending a truckload of cash for leads, that have done this for a number of years. And you think that a little bit of time spent on a part-time basis is going to make it so that you magically can leave your job and start just doing real estate full time. Well, I've got news for you. That happens, but it's rare. Like, that doesn't happen a lot. You've got to pay with time or money, or preferably both, to be able to get really good at the game, where you can kind of carve out a niche for yourself. And this is the exact same thing here. And so you could kind of carve out a niche, or or you just buy bottoms, kind of like, or near bottoms, like I feel like we're potentially at now, and you be patient,
Yeah. I mean, it's treating it like an asset class. It's funny. I was on a podcast this morning, kind of same conversation, not exactly, but like, most people don't treat crypto like an asset class. They treat it like a casino. They come in, they throw money around. They don't have any like justification behind why they're doing what they do, besides maybe the influencer of the day shilled it to them on a YouTube or on a Twitter feed, right? And so, like, treating it like an asset class, really starting to learn the game, learning how to do DeFi, maybe joining masterminds or teaming up with people who know the game more than you, who can teach you, like a mentee and mentor type student. I mean, when in real estate, the reason why I was so successful in real estate was because I paid for my success. 120%. I've spent well over probably $250,000 on paying for being a masterminds, private mentors. And that's what got me successful. I mean, when I wound my real estate company down, I was doing multiple 7 figures every year. I had a team, I have employees with, I was, working 13, 14, 15 hours a day. But I mean, it was a very fruitful business, and that was because I paid my way to be there. And I am my superpower. Like, people ask me, well, what's your superpower? I'm like, well, my superpower is copy and paste. I never want to reinvent the wheel. Someone's already done it. If someone's already done it, I want to find who's done it. I want them to teach me. So whether I gotta pay for them to teach me, that's fine. I'm okay paying to play, or bring other value. I tell people, you don't have to pay. If you don't have the money to pay, it's fine. But figure out how you can bring value to that person or that team of people or whoever. So that way you're not just being this person who's leeching value. You want to be, it's value for value. And it's the same in crypto. Find people you're able to, give value to, so they can give value to you and learn this game the right way. I mean, even here in this chat right here, I see a lot of guys who've been in the game for a long time who have a shit ton of knowledge and value in this asset class. And so it's just, it's all perspective and how you treat the game. I really feel like is if you're going to make us, have a successful journey out of this or not. It's a lot of people aren't cut out for even entrepreneurship. Those same people who are not cut out for entrepreneurship might not be cut out for investing either. I don't know. There's a certain mental framework that you have to be like in, and you like, I don't know. There's a certain person who's the right cut, right fit for this type of journey. It's not easy, man. It's not easy.
Can wear you out, right? Agreed.
It's not easy,
and
man.
Here's some hopium, and I think this is also a great example. So if you looked at real estate and you said, "Hey, I wanted to be a real estate investor," well, the name of the game is just to buy a good deal, right? You don't have to outcompete the guys that need to do 10 or 20 deals a month to be able to keep their team and their operation afloat. You don't have to compete
like
with
mine.
them. Yeah, if you're playing a different game. So if your game instead was, you're like, you know what, I don't need to go and flip and wholesale a bunch of houses for transactional money now. I'm just going to go and buy things when I feel like they're cheap. I'm going to hold them. I'm going to be patient. Point in case, if you would have bought rentals in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, even into 16, 17, 18, and then sat on your hands for a few years, you did great because you bought when things were cheap. And then you had an opportunity to sell when they're more expensive. And so I think it's pretty easy to look at the price chart here and say, okay, if I'm committed to just buying when things are cheap, well, then they're freaking cheap right now. And you have an opportunity to determine how you want to play the game.
Yep, I agree. And in fact, to the 5-minute chart, he thinks there might be some new all-time lows coming in. Look, I'm for it. I know a lot of people in the chat and a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people everywhere in crypto would hate that, but like, I would buy it. Like, I would literally, like, I'm bringing more money in next week, and I would buy it. If they want to put new lows in the chart, let's do it. I don't foresee new lows because I don't see how we can get any worse FUD than the SEC FUD. There was so much uncertainty and so much like fear. I don't see us.
I can give you a scenario where we get worse FUD.
Go give me it, and I think I know what it's going to be.
You just have the SAC wallet selling.
Oh,
easy. Yeah. That's way worse FUD. SAC wallet selling. Oh yeah, new lower level. Now, once again, I don't think that's going to happen, but that's kind of that's. Now, once again, crypto can always go lower than you expect and higher also. So, right. Could we get new low? Sure. Could we get new low? Sure. The likelihood of the SAC wallet selling or something happening.
It would have to sell
new lows. I think is pretty.
It would have to sell a lot.
Unlikely.
The only way I see new lows in the ecosystem in my head is like a DOJ case. Like, that's the only, like, for me, and I could be wrong, right? Like, and like I said, I don't think that's going to happen either. They're like it looks like the SEC case is going to be like good. Like, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday what the bill that passed in Congress was freaking awesome, right? We're moving in the right direction. They're starting to open their arms up to us a little bit. They're starting to warm up to us a little bit, which is nice. It's going to allow us to keep inching in the right direction, which also is going to help give more clarity on this SEC case against RH and everyone else in the freaking industry. It's not just
Right.
RH. It's like it's the whole war on crypto is what it is. And so I don't see a DOJ case coming. I definitely don't see the SAC wallet just selling,
The Hex
large
Monkeys here,
amounts.
yeah. Sack Wallet hasn't sold yet, probably never will.
No,
Yeah, we don't
I agree.
anticipate that either. I'm just giving a scenario to get to
Yeah.
new lower lows. What would that need to look like?
I don't
right?
think new lows come, man. And look, I hope I'm wrong because I would take it. Like I am greedy, guys. And if the toxic Twitter jeets want to keep jeeting their bags, well, then I'm gonna buy it. Like, dude, I'll bring some new money in next week. Today's Thursday. I'm gonna have it in next week, and then we're gonna come in and buy. Like, I'm good with that. Like, let's go. So yeah, it's all
Now,
perspective.
What you could see here, which I wouldn't be surprised a bit by, I was really hoping this trend here would hold. I was thinking that it would. We talked about it on the show. I was thinking this trend that was like this, I was thinking it would hold in here, but it didn't, which is fine. It is what it is. So this one didn't hold. And so what are we looking at now? I mean, you've got a few different levels here.
Do me a favor though. If you do this, put it on the monthly, because on the monthly, that trend still can hold. It's just got to close on that line at the end of the month. You can have these daily candles all through there, but if it goes on the monthly is it's what's the truest of true of all charts is the monthly. And so
that's a fair point. So I mean, yeah, could it get back above this trend line here and close above it this month? I mean, we got about a week that it could, but even if it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a huge deal at this point. So what levels are we looking at right now? I mean, it could come down here and touch the bottom of this range. I mean, maybe it comes down and does
a double bottom
range here. Maybe it does a freaking double bottom and we touch freaking clear down here. I mean, what is that?
Double bottom is bullish, though.
4 zeros and a 3. Yeah.
Give me that opportunity. Please give me that opportunity.
Yeah. I would be a buyer. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? What of these levels holds? Do you think we come down, we do a true double bottom off the very bottom here? Do we do the true double bottom? Do we touch some of these other levels and take off again? In fact, let's go ahead and pull the fib levels. I'm curious where that puts us. So let's go we'll go from the very bottom here to the very top. I mean, you look at that, we're so deep in value right now. Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that we reverse anytime soon? I could be wrong, but I think we got a little bit of time here before we see a big reversal. I think we see later in the summer, potentially, maybe even fall.
Well, my 4 catalysts, right? If you got a rocket ship, you got 4 engines. Here are the 4 engines. ETH ETF approval, because that's going to send ETH to the moon, and we know we have one of the largest ETH holders that likes to buy his own stuff up. So that's nice. So ETH ETF getting approved, first catalyst. Second, clarity around SEC, which I think is inevitable. It's going to happen. In fact, I'm going out there in October, guys. I don't know who else is going to be out there. Love to see you guys. I'm going to go out there in October. So some clarity around the SEC. RH streaming again, which that's debatable. People tell me, that's not. I think it is. I think people need a leader. People are, especially
Agreed.
People who are not very entrepreneurial minded or very like they just need a leader because they can't lead themselves. And so him streaming again would be very bullish. And then fourth is privacy. And I don't know when that will come. I know they're working and building over on Pulsechain. So that way any transactions being done is you can't trace it, or you can't do chain analysis on it. So that would be super cool because as we know, we do have whales that like to buy, and whales don't like to be tracked. And so like that would fix that problem if we had privacy. What's really cool is that we'd be the most innovative, in my opinion, one of the most innovative EVMs, because we'd be the only EVM chain with privacy. So we'd have smart contracts with the same thing that Monero has. I mean, that's freaking just like, that's beautiful for whales who want to come and use smart contracts and participate and use their money and put their money to work for them. They could do that over here on Pulsechain without being tracked. That is massive in my opinion. And so those are the 4 catalysts for me for the rocket ship to the moon. And, right now we're seeing the first one start to ignite. And it's not even ignited yet. Like where ETH is responding because of the news or the rumors. In fact, I saw a post today that it's supposed to be approved in 2.5 hours. I don't know. We'll see if it happens today. That'd be fun if it does. But like we're watching in real time the first rocket engine starting to get fired up. So, to me, we're at the right time. We're at the right place at the right time. Those charts scream opportunity to me, whether you're looking at Pulse, Hex, PulseX, even Ink. I still believe Ink's going to be a freaking beast of a runner. I think it's just going to be stupid. Same with PulseX, man. I think, man, there's going to be some fun Twitter fights because I think these are really going to overperform. I could be totally wrong, and that's why I hold all of them. I don't need to be right on any of this stuff. I hold all of it, including some meme coins. So, like, where's our Urban Productions? Urban Productions in the chat. Hey, Urban Productions, I haven't been scammed out of my Solid X yet. Look, we still have our Corvettes. I got mine. Dane's got his. We are still holding our Solid X. And so I don't know what you think about that, man. And I think that's going to do really well too, in my opinion. I could also be wrong. I'm just a dude on the internet. This is never financial advice. Go buy stocks and bonds, like Sami says.
That's right. As far as the ETH ETFs, there's 9 applications. Technically, today was one of the deadlines that that there could be approvals by. I don't know. It felt like it'd be all of a sudden if it happened now. I guess I'd be a little surprised if you did see an approval out of nowhere today. But is it true that the SEC went to everybody that was applying for this type of stuff, and I think they asked them to change their filing, so they essentially removed the staking portion out of there, so they can't stake or have other means by which they could generate revenue from the Ethereum and then resubmit it.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. It's kind of funny. They asked them to remove it's so funny how the SEC doesn't understand how crypto works by any stretch of the measure. You're asking them to remove the one thing that makes the Ethereum blockchain run and do its thing. Like that's the underlying like mechanic, and what keeps it alive is staking and node validating. That's how the thing is able to stay running. And they asked them to remove that one thing that keeps the Ethereum blockchain going. It's like, okay, you guys obviously have no effing clue what crypto is, but it's fine. Like a spot ETF, or basically meaning you can just buy on the open market, that's fine. Like I'll take it. And then we'll educate the more sophisticated guys to run their own node validators and retain their own keys, have self-sovereignty, all the ethos that we love about crypto. We don't want these guys to be participating in an ETF anyways, in my opinion. So it's, we'll see. We'll see if here in an hour and a half. I think it was because I was like an hour ago or so I read that tweet.
I'd love to be wrong. It'd be cool to see something pass today and we get to the pump part of the bull run.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, that'd be one of the, like I said, there you go. There's the first of the rocket engine, right? First thruster that would get fired off, because now we're gonna see, Sami likes to call it the treasury, but the OA, we're gonna see that wallet grow in substantial size, which is really cool. It's really cool because Pulsechain's built on top of that ecosystem. We're just leveraged on ETH. We're all ETH maxis in one shape or form or another.
Right. Right. And like you guys are saying in the chat, yeah, multiple people with this same sentiment. Yeah, I mean the SEC case absolutely gets weaker and weaker. If the ETF for ETH gets approved, I mean, I've been in the camp for a long time that, the case against Richard, you probably weren't going to see that, settled or dismissed for a couple more years. But man, I mean, if you have the ETH ETF get approved before the next hearing, I mean, I'm having a hard time seeing a judge really want to give a lot of credence to that
Yeah.
case when like it's like you guys said that ETH was cool and this is just a copy of ETH. Like, what is there to do here? And so maybe we do see that resolved sooner than later. Maybe we see it resolved this year. That would be huge.
And you read the bill that passed right here. I got it right here. The FIT21, I think that's what it is, or F1T21 bill.
I saw some of the highlights, but I haven't read it. Go ahead and give us the highlights.
It's a crypto regulation bill that creates a path for cryptocurrencies to be exempt from many securities regulations if they achieve a sufficient level of decentralization. That bill passed. The problem I have with it is twofold. It says be exempt from many security regulations. So being that they say many leaves a question mark that there could be some security regulations they can still put you under. And then the second part is, this is left up to what they're going to determine is sufficient level of this decentralization. What do you mean achieve a sufficient level? Like, how do they know what a sufficient level of decentralization is, and who determines that sufficient level? Like, that's just like, it's up in the air. So those are the two things I don't like about it. But other than that, that's extremely bullish. And Biden was going to veto it or not. He wasn't going to allow it to go through. And then the last second, like, he even admitted he wasn't going to allow it to go through. And then the last second, he changed his mind.
Really?
Because they're losing. They're losing to old boy over there talking about he's building a crypto army, and they're starting to change their tune really fast on this presidential race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to go up against the dude like who already had the country once, and he's talking about how he's pro crypto. Yeah.
This is an NFT collection. I mean,
right. He's got an NFT collection, and man, and we already know he holds some Ethereum. Like, it's just, it's going to be a fun year, Dane, no matter how you slice it. Yeah, guys, I know there's been a lot of bearish stuff in the first part of the year, but man, go back to every cycle. Isn't that how it always works? You have the leading the Bitcoin halving, then after the Bitcoin halving, it's like you have a bunch of downward pressure before anything starts. Like, we're just right on cue with the market cycle. That's all this is. And all this news that it's around, it's just fluff. It's just like, like I see Sprack Burger in here. I mean, he doesn't need the news, man. He just needs the charts. He can just look at the cycles and the charts, and Sprack Burger will tell you what's coming next. He doesn't need the news. The news just fills in the why. He already knew what. He knew what was going to happen. He didn't know the why, and then the news events happens, and that's what good TA guys can do. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this comment. Yeah, Mr. Guzzler proves the ETH ETF. ETH will go straight to 4,500.
It's gonna be a god candle, man. It's gonna be wild. I'm excited. I got a buddy, Briz. I was over on a yacht party the other day, and we were talking about crypto, and actually we're gonna probably onboard him the Pulsechain. And he's like, "Well, I got some crypto." I'm like, let me see. He pulls out his Coinbase. He's got like $3 million in Ethereum, and Ethereum was like 2,900. And I was like, well, I was telling him, hey, you should buy ETH, because that's like my one non-financial advice. Because people who can't understand Pulsechain, right? I'm like, well, get ETH. And he's like, well, I got ETH. And he shows me it's like $3 million already. I'm like, oh crap, that's like a 2,900. So his portfolio is already shot up. And so he's doing good. Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
He's doing good. I'm gonna have him bring some of that. It might be worth 5 million by the time I have a Zoom call with them. I'm like, all right, bro, let's take 1 million of that and bring that over to Pulsechain.
Right.
Let's
Buy
bring
when
it
things
over
are
into
cheap.
some of these depressed assets that could give you a 10, 20, 30, 40x on your money.
Agreed.
Not financial advice, guys. Not saying that's what you can go buy bonds. You can go buy stocks.
And there's plenty of cool things still going on Pulsechain. So Passive Duel, those guys are building some cool things with 2FUCks. There is a solid index airdrop, and these guys are working. I did see that there's going to be a solid index pool, which is going to be pretty cool. So you could go and put your solid index coins together in the pool and earn rewards there. If that's something that you're interested in getting eaten alive by impermanent loss, you could go ahead and do that. With those guys, Passive Duel will give you the way for it. But it's cool. It's cool to see all this stuff getting built
Yeah.
and people have opportunities to participate where they want to.
Also, 9inch is having single-sided staking for Solid X, supposed to be coming out tomorrow. And so you're able to earn the BBC token. And it's probably not going to be like, guys, it's not going to be aggressive. It's not going to be like a 20, 40, or 50% APY. It's probably like probably a 5 or 10, unless you lock it, because you do have the opportunity to lock your coins and get a much higher APY. But I'm definitely not in the camp of locking any of my coins unless it's a monthly hex rolling stake is about the only locking I do these days.
I mean, you can
I don't think Dane,
go lock it
Dane
for
didn't do
15
that.
years, go lock it for 15 years.
Shit. I'll be hanging out with my kids. They will be much older. We'll be doing many different things 15 years from now.
Yep. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Sprague says nobody knows anything. Yeah.
Yeah, you fortune tellers with your astrology for guys is what they call it.
Right.
With the charts of PA. Like, oh, I saw that coming. That was just part, the news just fills in the gaps. That's all it does for you guys. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, there's somebody in here yesterday that talked about charts and things that they liked, or that we liked, and I figure we could start sharing some of the things that we're talking about, that we're looking at right now, and that we're considering buying. We don't give any financial advice, but that'd be a cool part of the show we could share.
Well, label it stuff that you like. That's all it is. It's stuff that you like, Dane. It's that simple. Yeah. Obviously, I like all the core assets. I have a lot of the core assets. I want more of the core assets. In fact, usually when I buy other stuff that I like, is because I'm trying to get more of the core assets. It's not because I'm trying to get more fiat. It's because I'm trying to get more of the core assets. So that's usually how I play the game. But yeah, show a couple of them.
All right, so there's some bullish news with the Solid Index, which is Solid X, the Nope token, the Hexfire token, and the Axis token. So those are the four. And man, I really like, a lot of those charts are looking good. I picked up some more of the Hexfire token today. This part of the screen candle's me, and you're seeing it's doing a little bit of a W here.
Damn, Dane.
It's looking like it wants to.
You completed the W on that chart, dude.
I'm trying to make that W come to fruition.
The W on the chart, dude. Oh my god!
So we're officially above this breakout level here, and you could come and participate. Historically, now once again, I'm no charting genius. I'm just learning from some of you that are far smarter than I. But this is one I've been paying really close attention to, even though we strongly disagree on our staking preferences for Hex. We really like what Crispy Man brings to the ecosystem.
We love Crispy Man.
I love his token here is dope. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, he's got some sick ass data when it comes to market cycles and what comes on to cryptocurrencies that have a long history behind them. I mean, he is excellent at that. And so, yeah, Crispy Man is an absolute beast. Yeah, I do too. And he's such a he's so humble. And I met him in real life, Dane, out there in Vegas, and I had an absolute blast with him.
Yeah,
So
super cool guy. We like Crispy. Shout out to Crispy. If you want to come participate, this one's looking like it wants to go. In my opinion, I could be wrong, so you make your own financial decisions. I'm curious, do any of you guys have more info on the launch token? I've been trying to figure this one out specifically with the this is one I've been following along as well. Do you guys, as far as the actual mechanics of the what's it called, of the launch pad, does anybody have any info here? I need to go dig in a Telegram more. But this one,
it
you had this triangle here that it broke down out of. Maybe we go down here and we see a double bottom. It's, in my opinion, that's where it's looking like it wants to go.
yeah,
Um,
or it could go lower. It
yeah,
could.
it could.
So that's
Now,
a little bit.
a few
That one
things I
scares
like
me.
a lot of a few things I like a lot about this. I mean, Sami was talking about launch pads like crazy not that long ago. This is,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware, I think this is the only one on Pulsechain right now, and I think the guys are building over there. They're bringing
There's one
stuff
other,
there.
the Forge. There's another one called the Forge.
Oh, okay, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. But it's
So
the structure is different. You get your coins from the NFT. Like it has coins, but you can't just go buy the coins off a market right now. Like you have to buy the NFT, and it's a little bit more deeper. You have to go deeper into the rabbit hole to participate in that one.
yeah, I think the launchpad narrative is going to come back around pretty strong.
In the bull
This
run,
one,
yeah.
yeah, this one is looking pretty cheap. I want to see the price structure kind of find a bottoming a little bit more before I
Mhm.
look to buy more personally. I think it'll come down here and look to do a double bottom, and then I'll make some decisions of what I want to do at that point. But if these guys can pull off their launch pad in some semblance, and Donovan does stuff outside of Pulsechain, which I think is good. You can bring eyes over here that are not currently here. I think that's bullish. I'm interested to see what these guys could pull off. Maybe it's a scam. You guys make your own financial decisions. This is one that I'm paying pretty close attention to here.
Let's look at Solid X.
Let's
I want
do
to see if
it.
Urban Productions was right, and I got rug pulled.
Let's do it. Solid X looking pretty solid here. Let me go ahead.
Playing words there, Dave.
Let's expand.
Oh, geez, look at that chart, man. I love that chart. Is that against Pulsechain?
No, let me switch it.
It's getting look even more bullish against Pulse.
I mean, look at this W that it's trying to print here.
Oh my word,
Higher,
dude.
higher high, higher low. I mean, it's looking nice.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
looking real.
Fast Abdul says fast rug, man. It's a rug. Get out, dude. Get out.
Get out. Get out while you can.
Please get out. Please. Jesus. This coin is ridiculous in my portfolio.
It's looking real strong.
Yeah, it is. It is. Not financial advice again, guys. This could go to zero tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Urban Productions
Well,
could be right. Then he would be right.
yep. So I don't know, guys. There's a few places that we're looking that I think are interesting things to be looking at. If you're not following, if you like the meme game, Hans posts a lot of cool stuff on his Twitter. He has a handful of tokens that he's launched. Those are, those might do something. Once again, we don't give any financial advice here. Those are interesting ones to pay attention to, though, for that type of stuff. If that's your cup of tea, lots of opportunities if you want to come and play.
We got Crypto Sloth in the chat. Last I heard, he is full-time crypto now. He had ditched the dental stuff. He graduated and he said, screw this. He's got goals of moving to Dubai and going full-time crypto and becoming a 100 millionaire, maybe even a billionaire. That's the rumor on the street there, Dane. Just to let you know.
That's right. That's right. Inside jokes lost in our group, and we've got an inside joke going there. Cool, guys. Well, we appreciate you being on today. Are there any other things you want to hit on, Corey, before we kind of end our show off?
That's it, man. Now tomorrow we're gonna have open mic Friday. You guys, come one, come all. We love talking about anything money. If you want to come on here and talk about real estate, about some of our strategies that we plan on, doing in the top of the bull run, be more than happy to discuss that. I feel like that could be a great value for you guys here in crypto. Or we could talk crypto. I mean, we love talking crypto. We can, Brizology, if you want to come in here and fight about the ink token, I'll be more than happy to do that with you. And yeah, I mean, that'd be it, man. Guys, stay off of the toxic Twitter, go outside, create value to the world, create money. And that way you can bring that money back into crypto and then get multiples on that money. Yeah, better than being on toxic Twitter. Like, that's a better deal. Like, go do that instead.
In fact, maybe I'll reach out to Sprack if you want to come in and do some charting, or maybe I'll reach out to Hans too, see if we get some of you chart guys on to show us how we're looking tomorrow. That'd be cool.
I would love to have Hans on. And guys, if you're watching over on Twitter, come over and smash the likes and hit the subscribe over here on YouTube, and to help boost our algorithm so we could keep bringing the good word of crypto and real estate to you guys. Go talk to a girl. Go talk to a girl. I mean, I'm married, so like I can put my phone down and go hang out with my wife. I love my wife, so it's like that part's easy. What the fucks? Yeah. Come on, what the two fucks? That's the what the two fucks. Get off of Twitter, go participate in two fucks, and then go talk to your wife. That's a good plan.
I like it. Cool, guys. Have a good one. Catch us tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Peace, guys.